I'm going to be presenting at a conference in a few weeks' time, and the subject area that I'm presenting on for 45 minutes is reflection. And the actual initial contact from the conference came from my book. It's not about the coach in terms of the interest. And in the book I talk a lot about, when I do my research for the book in terms of what makes someone a great coachee, reflection was high up on the list and actually kind of got bundled with curiosity. So one of the 9 characteristics of being coachability that I outline in the book, is around curiosity, but reflection is really close in there. Sometimes I chop the words and change them around depending on the audience. And the session I'm running is about reflection, holding up the mirror to optimal performance. Now, holding up the mirror is a bit of a coaching phrase, really. It's often what we do as coaches and in other learning environments, as managers, friends, other kind of facets of life, is we hold up the mirror. So what you're saying is, what I'm hearing is, I'm noticing, so you're just kind of playing back and give someone a chance to, as you can see, the clue is in the name, and I just realised I've done this, reflection, the mirror. I haven't even spotted that, so I must have come up with a good title. So holding up that mirror, kind of just reflect that back. Now, one of the things about reflection is there's a good reason why we need to do it, and that's, of course, what I would outline and promote in terms of coaching as one opportunity for reflection. CPD is another great one for that as well, and communities of practice, whether that's digital or social learning, they're really good places for reflection. Those would be my top 3. I kind of call them the 3 C's. You've got the kind of community, if you like, the CPD, continuous professional development, and coaching, or being coached. And I think that people will often will recognize its importance and sometimes stay away from it. And the reason why was a phrase, or a quote even, buried here in this fine book of mine. So let me take you. It's from a film. It's from a film, Coach Carter. I think it was Samuel L. Jackson who's kind of the coach Carter. It's a basketball, and like many of these good films, if you watch it with a coaching lens or a leadership management lens or whatever you want, it's in there. All these messages in life are everywhere. You just kind of, can you see them and can you not? And there's a situation that develops on the court where it's a kind of an impasse, really. And one of these quotes really stands out. And I think it's rehashed in other ways. I'm not sure if this is just found in Coach Carter. So if you do know of it anywhere else, do let me know, because it's one of those ones you stumble over the quote and think, oh, I've heard it elsewhere in different ways. So there might be another source or even better quotes, I'm not sure. But let's have a look at the quote and realise why it's beneficial to reflect in the face of optimal performance, because people who perform optimally will have that reflection time going, well, how can that be better? How can I do more? How can I do less? They will reflect on their performance. Who are you being? How do you know what you know? Let's have a look at the quotes. Come on in. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Now I think in coaching, CPD, communities, social learning, often that reflection, the reason why people don't do it, because they're going to stumble over something and realise, my God, I've got so much potential, I've got such a great idea, I've got an opportunity here. That lightness, not necessarily the dark, of course it's both, that support and challenge. And again, that's something I talk about quite a lot in the book, about the challenge, what do you do if you feel challenged within a coaching environment, because it's the darkness, if you like, something you're unhappy with or uncomfortable with or unsure on, lots of uns. But equally, reflection, one of the reasons we need to do it is because we have to discover that light. And sometimes it's a responsibility. Then we discover something, reflect, and think, I've just got to work on this. I've just got to ask another question. I've got to go and find out more about something that has kind of occurred to me, if you like. So I think it's a nice way of looking at holding up the mirror to optimal performance, and think it's not just about, oh my gosh, what do I need to be better at, but also that strength space. Oh my gosh, I've got so much resources of energy and experience and resources and networks over on the other side. And actually finding it and tapping into it and recognizing it can bring with it great responsibility also.